as your eyes slowly open. Again, you see the same figure of the sage before you. She sits on the column, staff quietly placed by her side. You feel her gaze from behind that mask fixate on you for a moment, and a light smile play across her lips. I believe this is probably the last time we'll meet like this. It feels like mere days ago, you came and sat near my bonfire, and yet you need to say goodbye so soon. It's almost a shame, but isn't that the way things go? The age twists on, days pass by, and we grow and change as people. I hope you'll remember your time here in Vignette. And I hope that the memories you've gained here will guide you into the new age of the world. You made a lot of decisions during your time here. And most importantly, you've grown as a person as well. Let's go over some of the ways that you've grown. Now, as before, this should come as a surprise to absolutely no one, but you made a decision of which attribute to focus on. You voted for, suddenly, she's cut off. A gentle voice from behind her speaking up. Surprise above surprise. You voted to keep all of your attributes even. She jumps over his seat. Jumps over in her seat, sliding lightly along the column. Oh, hi again, I guess. It seems like your utter dedication to keeping all of your attributes even has left you with +7s in every stat, yet your health total has... let me check. Your health total is currently locked at 42. While you are quite potent with your attributes, it seems like, overall, your health is somewhat lacking. The sage speaks up. They made their decisions, and it's a smart call. After all, every new attribute joins at the level of the lowest level attribute. Therefore, the new one that they're getting today is going to be extremely powerful right off the bat. Of course. Next. Last session, you found twin pistols via your usage of Fool's Hope. What attributes are we going to assign this weapon to? Oh. You all voted to return them back to their owner. Interesting decision. You didn't want the 2 guns, though, huh? It's probably a more responsible use of the weapon, as well as it equips another ally with it. I think this is a great decision. Next. I asked a very unique question. We can continue our pursuit of a school of magic. Which are you going to study, and with who? You were given the choice between pursuing not only your various sacred and profane schools of magic, you were given a choice of pursuing nothing, because magic is for, and I quote, dorks, and you would go look for frogs with the moonblood in the swamp. Instead, you chose this option, studying an unknown school of magic with an unknown person. The necromancer quietly lets out a cooing noise. And last but not least, in fact, most importantly for your actions going forwards, you made a decision of what attributes you were going to carry into the session. The highest votes won out. This will determine functionally your loadout for the session, and then we will discuss which attributes are carrying what and perform a series of small votes to determine how we are going to act in this session. So, keep in mind that only the top 3 attributes are going to be included on your character sheet, as well as the new orange attribute that's going to be added to your stock. At the very top, we had Beast of God with 119 votes, then Blooming Heart with 88, and Lore with 86. Wandering Astray fell short by 10, and Fool's Hope is the unanimous loser of this round. Keep it up. I believe Fool's Hope will suit you well in the future, but now perhaps is not the time. Right. With all of that out of the way, I've got one more question. Everyone, I'm asking you to make a decision. Normally, I'd ask which of your gifts you wish to level up. But in this instance, I didn't. This is because, as we approach the climax of this story, it becomes important to make wider or more sweeping decisions. We've gathered a wide variety of different gifts, and this will function as, let's call it, one of your final power-ups. We have obtained many types of gifts during our journey. Next, we will decide, what school of gifts are we going to level up? 1 profane, 2 neutral, or 3 sacred. This will level up every single gift in that school. I think it's time to make a decision. Do you side with the gods, against them, or do you fall somewhere in between? This is a more important decision, and as such, I'll give you more time on this. As a reminder, profane is not only your focus on water and its manipulation, it's also your ability to, well, detonate corpses. Sacred is your focus on not only divine fire magics, but it's also ability to theoretically manipulate water via the Pioneer's methods. Finally, neutral includes your leaping techniques, as well as your various weapons. Alright, the vote is somewhat close, but I believe a decision's been met. We are going to level up our weapons and our leaping technique. Mostly, this keeps us in the middle. Alright. Well then, with that in mind, I want you to welcome your final attribute. Orange will be added to your character sheet during this session, and you need to decide on what that attribute's name is. I'm going to ask everyone to submit names for a short period of time, then compile a list of those I believe to be most relevant. You have 2 minutes starting now. All right. These are some extremely good choices. Seriously, very impressive stuff. I'm going to compile my list, and you all will be given a short period of time again to vote on which you think will help us the most. I'm doing something I haven't done before, and I'm combining two of the attributes into one. Here we go. All right, here are your choices. Option 1, Ever Onward. Option 2, Burning Souls, Spark of Contradiction. And option 3, Father to the Fateless. All of these are wonderful suggestions. You can't go wrong. Good work, guys. I'm going to give you a short period of time to decide. Please, complete your character sheet. Okay, I believe I've seen enough. All right. It's been decided. Your orange attribute has been added to your character, and its name is. Let me add it. Enable it. Enable blue, red, and green. These are the stats you're rolling in with. And to reveal Orange's name, we are rocking in with Father to the Fateless. Excellent work, Chad. With this decided, I think it's time that we stand and assume our positions for the final part of this ritual. The sage slowly stands. Yes, I agree. The necromancer slowly rises herself, taking to the stage in this particular method. It's rather exhilarating in its own way. I eagerly await what comes next. And regardless of what decisions you've made, please honor and cherish them. They are yours, after all. She walks forward and motions with her head as a figure at the bonfire slowly stands. They pick themselves up and follow her down towards the marsh. The sage moves over towards you as your eyes slowly open again. For what it's worth, it's been an honor. And if there's anyone that can find their way truly out of this mess of a ritual, I believe at this point it should or could only be you. So, until the very last, keep your eyes and your mind open. Prepare for new possibilities and embrace whatever future tomorrow holds. She extends her hand. And Oh, let me up your health total. 2. You find yourself again in the middle of the settlement. Now, you feel an almost... the tug of curiosity against the back of your head. You're going to head out briefly to pursue magic training, same as before, but for now, you should look around and appraise your colleagues. First up. Oh yeah, of course this one shows up first. Your orange attribute emerges, and you make your way over here. You walk your way to the door where you hear 2 people talking on the inside. You sure you're good? You're positive you're okay? I know all those wounds couldn't have just dealt with themselves. Yeah, I'll be fine. Listen, they heal themselves. Just a little bit of dirt and spit and boom, good as new. That leads to infection. Infection is something that can be bypassed through sheer determination. I'm surprised you've been able to live this long. Hey, there are some advantages to this Moonblood thing. Okay, I'm gonna heal you. Just hold still, okay? Fine. You peer through the door for a split second, and your new attribute speaks up. I don't know about this one, actually. Maybe I'll leave that to them. It seems like... You make a brief comparison in your head, staring around the corner. This new attribute, Father to the Fateless, immediately finding some recognition from earlier life. As you look at the Solar Knight, basically like borderline lifting the Moonblooded up and like blasting her with healing magic, the only image that you get is an angry cat being given a bath. You turn around and you're like, I'll check on the others. Let's see how the Pioneer's settling in. Solar Knight's probably got that. You wander your way down, and over here, you hear the sounds of... Alright, so balance it there. I'm balancing. You walk into the room and you pause for a moment. You see the Pioneer taking aim at what appears to be some sort of fruit that is sitting atop the caster's basket. You pause for a moment. One of the dual pistols that you have just given back to the Pioneer is pointed squarely at his head. One misfire could plant a bullet between his eyes. Decision time. Intervene, yes. 1, 2, no. You stare straight ahead, and your new attribute again speaks up. Nah, I recognize Boys Night when I see it. I think they'll be fine. You sit back and watch the Pioneer looking over. The caster has challenged my accuracy, and as such, I'm demonstrating the skill and the precision with which these firearms play. All I'm saying is, beneath the surface of the ocean, firearms like that don't work. As such, I have never seen them fire correctly. The powder gets wet. The inaccuracy is, great. You pause for a moment, thinking. If the caster's arguing against the accuracy of the weapons, why has he volunteered himself? You do not correct this, as the Pioneer takes aim and simply fires. With a loud splat, the fruit sitting atop the caster's head is obliterated into individual granules. You watch on and begin to clap. Okay, kind of impressive. Give me a shot. Oh, you want to take a shot too, huh? All right, throws you the gun. Bro, seriously? Yes. I believe it shouldn't be an issue. You take aim. and fire at the air above his head before he even has a chance to put a new fruit down. You're going to need to give me a second. You move back over and begin to reload. Oh, mighty fine accuracy, actually. Tell me, where did you learn to fire a gun? You look down. I have taken many jobs over the years, and they've required the use of many different types of weapon. Firearms are new, but I make sure to at least stay current. Staying current, huh? Oh. Much like this mask and this armor. These firearms I pilfered off the corpse of someone who invaded my land. Now, at the very least, I know that the content of your soul is not utterly depraved, the same as theirs. Still, this disgusting weaponry has proven quite useful in the reclamation of my people's lands. This armor has proven quite useful as well. I don't trust those that wrap themselves in steel, not by default. But it doesn't seem like you're affiliated with any of the empires up here, so... He pauses. He looks down at the gun. Thank you for returning that weapon. It is not mine, but it has proven quite useful. You lean back, and for a split second, Beast of God wants to ask a question. It almost bubbles to the surface of their mind, like, Beast normally is so quick to move on from such things, but they find themselves genuinely curious about this pioneer. You said reclaim your lands. Are you a leader or some other equivalent? Oh, not intentionally, but I suppose it has wound up that way. I come from the sulfuric lamina. It is a haven for those practicing the profane arts, those that would be put to death for the practice of profane fire magics or otherwise. We have always been a harbor for those not accepted on the higher lamina. But, as time has gone on, the empires of not only this lamina, but the sacred lamina above, have started to move down and consider our territory theirs. A great boat of men clad in steel landed on our shores. Apparently, I discovered later that this steel armor is a heresy even in their land. They only put it on when putting those they consider lower than themselves to death. You met the necromancer earlier, correct? You nod. Vaguely familiar. She is from the same section of the globe as us. We've had the support of individuals like her, as well as motions over to the profane watercaster, supporting us for generations, and thanks to the assistance of profane casters, we were able to rip through the invaders and claim not only their ships, but their armor and weaponry for ourselves. I have made a business of striking down those that would come to my section of the world. Now, you could call this little expedition a vacation to the world above. I couldn't risk my crew or any of my people, so I've come myself. Apparently, those that wear this steel armor are backed by horrific deities. In this land, if I could gain the power of one for myself, I might be able to make a difference that could protect the future of my people. To tell you the truth, I'm growing old. I don't know how much longer I have in me. The severance of my mortality is quite the enticing offer. You pause and think. This is someone who isn't doing it out of greed, but potentially to secure the future of their populace. You think back and look around you at the people gathered here. Souls gathered like moths to a flame. Different goals who wish to sever their mortality for different reasons, and you look over at the caster. Sort of takes another step forward. He's like, again, to establish my own goal. Those who exist at the bottom of the ocean are able to live long and wonderful lives, but only if they achieve a level of transcension that I find beyond my means. It might be significantly more cowardly, but my goal in completing this trial would be to sever my own mortality and gain a path closer to enlightenment. I want to understand the truth and mysteries of this world. The human body is so limited. Beast of God is talking. This age is coming to an end. I understand that with it comes a great deal of uncertainty and fear. However, your accomplishments, those that you can do while you still live, should not be defined by the age. You become an age unto yourself. The caster almost pauses and takes a step backwards. Well said, but there's unfortunately another. Bodies grow old, they decay, and when the new age comes, whether you're a part of it or not, there is a reality that at some point you can't swing that big hammer of yours around anymore. It will not be an issue for me. Oh, okay, tough guy, huh? Understood. Well, if you find a way to completely and utterly triumph over death, please fill me in. To the very last, I would love to continue to guard people who trust in me. You string yourself up. The undeath of this land is quite fascinating. There might be something here, but you might be drinking from a tainted cup. My own future is rather uncertain, but it is through power that we add certainty to things. You walk free from the building and feel that almost tug of wanderlust speak up in the back of your head again. Beast is back, baby! And you travel following the results of the vote. No, this one. We get an actually spooky track. You walk down the narrow passageway that you discovered quite some time ago. And as you walk, your boots sort of disrupt the paneling that has been deeply inlaid here. You walk in this direction as if borderline compelled. You look down to the south for a moment, and then Beast of God makes the executive decision that you're going to walk back over in the direction that you discovered the necromancer at last. Best to speak to her directly. And as you go, you see one of those creatures out in front of you. Drop. Oh my god, this one. Okay. Hey there, little guy. You move over. Everything going okay? The creature borderline miserably stares up at you. Yeah, okay, don't know what you're saying, but let's cheer you up, okay? You quickly resort to. You do your best to cheer the creature up. You reach into your pack and pull out a few of the fruits that you were shooting earlier. You start to juggle up and down rapidly. The creature miserably continues to stare at you. You pause. I see a suggestion in chat. Oh, yeah. That seemed like fun earlier. Okay. You knit your fingers together, kneel down. You want uppies? Come on. It's fun. I'll toss you up in the air. You roll to do for uppies. It's not a very good roll, but your stats are now yoked enough that it actually doesn't matter. DC 15. The creature, whatever it is, moves forward, places itself in your knitted fingers, and then you throw them up, and it Whoom, whoom, spins, and then boom, and up, and you do it again, and this is very funny. Hold on. You see someone just peek out from behind the rock. She stares over at you and sort of places a hand against her chin, like, oh my, sort of watching you do this. And she lightly clears her throat as if to gather your attention. And you stop. You turn. Oh my god. Okay, you stay locked in. And she's like, if I recall correctly, I challenged you to a one-on-one duel for the to discover the truth, the future of Vignot and this ritual. Yep. You say, up again. I expected you to. She looks back down the passage. Are you having fun? Oh yeah, having a blast. You toss the creature up in the air again. If you wish to speak, you can walk into the village. Nah, let me finish first. You flip the creature again. It spins around, touches down, and then stares up at you. And you're pretty sure for a second, the crying stops. She freezes, looks back down the way, taps her foot, thinks for a moment. Are you here for this challenge? Huh. You think? You pat the being on top of the head. And I give you a choice. Chat. One, are you here? Option one. Continue flipping this tiny being. It seems to be doing better. Option two. Go back into the village with the necromancer and talk about heavy things. Or, option three. Just sit and talk to her for a bit. 1, 2, or 3. Okay, your split second. Yeah, no, I'm seeing the 1s and the 3s fused. Yeah, I'm getting the picture. They're one and the same. Gotcha. That's hysterical. It's so funny seeing her rapid change in attitude. It seems like whatever you're doing right now is actually throwing her off her game at least slightly. You sort of pause. You hop up on the rock, and then you continue to honestly, it's time to dad the shit out of this creature. You sit down on the rock and continue flipping this tiny being up and down. It seems to enjoy the process. This is good for its mental stimulation. She just almost watches you for a little while and then eventually does actually sit down on the rock next to you. Can I ask exactly why you're doing this? Huh? Felt like it. Also, little guys seem kind of sad. I'm not exactly sure what it's been through and everything, but it's clear enough, most of the beings in this area aren't exactly happy. So, if I could make them just a little bit happier, why not? It's not like it's any skin off my back, right? I'm seeing the offer in chat. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, sure. You stop, you put the creature down, and then stand up, and sort of knit your fingers together for her. You want to give it a go? It's fun. She looks down at you. She looks up. You roll to do. She sighs and actually takes a step forward. Okay. Sure, fine. Give it a go. You put your hands together, she puts one foot on the inside of it, and she leaps, twists, spins, and almost effortlessly lands where she started. Okay? She knits her hands together. Huh? Come on. You stare. You look. You scratch the back of your head, and you think if anyone else wants it. Nah. You put one boot in the middle of her palm, and, almost effortlessly, she flips you, and you twist and land significantly more heavily, but assume the position with a bow, and she lightly claps. Alright, okay. Slightly fun. You smile. You can feel a slight smile playing across her lips, a little more genuine than the last few. The other voice in the back of your head. This is humiliating. Why are we doing this? See if you can plumb her for more information. It seems like whatever we're doing, it's catching her off guard. Normally she's a steel wall, but in moments like these, guys, is she gonna like try to kill us or something? Nah, probably not. Honestly, Hobbs sits down. I've got a question. Why are you in a situation with all these little guys? You trying to do something similar? Honestly, I just offered you the cheat. This is the main way you could do it. They seem to love it. Pats this one on top of the head. She looks back at the village beyond the way. Interference in something like this isn't exactly my prerogative. My main goal is not to increase or decrease their happiness. It is simply to provide them with the opportunity that they could increase their own. You look down. Oh. No, I don't get it. She sighs. Okay, come with me. She starts to walk off in this direction. Huh? Okay. Later, little dude. The little guy looks over at you. You pause. You think. You run back. You pick them up. This is yours now. She looks back over at you, cocking an eyebrow. Great, as if we needed another pet. The Moonblood seemed frustrating enough. Whatever this is, I'm curious to find out more about it. You walk together with the Necromancer, and she leads you. Guys, giving the protag a dad stat was such a good idea. I don't know. I did not expect this. Good job. You? Oh boy. You come back to the area that you recently caused the gigantic corpse explosion in. Two bodies seem to remain somewhat intact, though they are slightly mangled. She works her way over, and in this case, you do actually manage to fulfill the criteria of question mark, and getting the last school of magic. She makes her way over here, and she's like, to briefly explain, I think an illustration would go the farthest distance. She holds out a hand, and you see fire begin to almost coagulate in her palm. Reaches out that hand and let me post it in chat. She uses. You already had your own profane Fulguris, but in this instance, she is very clearly using the more practicable variant of it. You hold out a palm and focus your energy, or she holds out her palm and focuses her energy, and you see the corpse slowly rise. She is going to use Compel Dead. Let's double check her roll. 21, okay. They rise from the ground, begin to move. You have a momentary realization. Is she the one raising the dead of this land? Is she the one that compels them to fight you, and then she looks over at you? Necromancy and its practice allow the resurrection of the dead. Think of it almost as linking oneself to a corpse and sliding into it like a hermit crab wearing a new shell. But they are still very much fundamentally connected to the source. She raises a hand, and the undead raises their hand too. She lowers her hand, the undead lowers their hand too. You look over and you think, every undead that you fought up to this point, has she been puppeteering them? And then you watch as she quietly raises her hand, stomps her foot, and then swings her palm down. She sweeps it through her side, and you see a line of flame almost temporarily severed. And then the being in front of you twitches, turns, stumbles, wanders, and begins to hurriedly rush around. It sprints over into the corner and begins to bash its head against the wall. You almost instinctively start to move forward, and she stops you. You pause as it continues the process until it is no longer moving. It slumps to the ground, utterly dead. You look over at her. She looks over at you. My position as a necromancer allowed me to... She pauses. It's a heavy topic for her, but she plunges on regardless. It allowed me to achieve no small amount of success during the demonic war. But I learned something. The dead that we raise, they are not themselves. They are an extension of we, that which raised them. We puppeteer their corpses with wills of our own. They are little more than unwilling servants. As such, I've been given a rather unique ability. What I did just there, I severed the chain connecting the two of us. Using a segment of my power, I granted them reanimation. And beyond that, I granted them freedom to do whatever they wished. She stares over. It seems that they wish to return to the sleep of death. That is not something that we can interfere with. She looks over at the being cradled in your arms. I cannot guide this one to a better life. They are, simply put, a soul without a body. It would violate my code if I wished for any form of freedom for them, other than utter and complete autonomy. She starts to walk off in this direction. Something rubs in the back of your brain a little wrong. When you first met, she reached out to you. And it almost felt like she was imposing some sort of will over you. You remember extending your hand to her, and it felt like you would lose control of yourself if you ever took it. I'll love to see it. You decide to speak this concern. When we first met, it felt like you were trying to control us. You were using some sort of spell or something. Like, we reached out our hand and you reached back, and it felt like if we took it, we wouldn't be ourselves anymore. Her gait stops. She turns, and you feel her smile almost shift. Becomes significantly more sad. Oh, I'm sorry. That is no matter of magic or enchantment. I have no ability that can truly compel another person. Domination is not within my capabilities beyond what you saw back there. I am not the one who resurrected you. Furthermore, I'm incapable of enchanting you in the way that you describe. She points. There is no magic here. These are the scars within your own psyche. Chains built from your own past experiences. That is not something I can sever with magic. She starts to walk again. Follow me. And you travel with a heavy burden now weighing on you. Go back to this one. You move into this area. You travel back into the cavern. And then up the tower down the southern passageway. Actually, to quickly show you. Oh, not that area. You go like this. Let me ping you here. You travel from here to here, down to here, and it connects up to here. You work your way up to the surface, and she makes her way over. And then sits. You quietly almost place yourself here, and then place your son next to you. Sitting in the middle of that circle. She looks over to you and asks, I'm curious, do you think you're capable of emulating that magic? You look down at your hand. Oh, Beast of God hates this. It should be theoretically possible, yeah. One of my selves is capable of manipulating flame in that way. All I need to do is alter my usage of it slightly, and it should be more than doable. I see. Well, in that case, I would love to try to teach you. She folds her hands. You think? Doesn't that go against the whole interference thing that you were just talking about? She tilts her head slightly. To what extent? I can hand you a tool. It's ultimately up to you to decide what you do with it. Okay. So, chat. It's time to make a decision. Which of our attributes are going to be learning necromancy? Are we going to do? Red. Beast of God can learn it. Blue already has Profane. Profane Erodin, but we'll give it a shot. Green. Ooh. Oh, Red's gonna get it for free. So I'm going to tag them out. And one other of you can grab it. Well, not one other. If I see enough twos and like ones, yeah, just tell me. Which of you are gonna try to learn this? It'll take an additional wall of time. For every additional participant. Necro Dad! Holy shit. Lich Dad. Oh, I love this. Okay. It seems like the Lich Father. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do it like this. Only the Papather will focus on learning necromancy as well as Beast of God. However, for not trying to teach it to multiple people, you'll have a chance to prod a little bit more above and beyond this. Okay. So we're gonna do this. Of course, you roll highest. Okay, you're gonna push this roll. Nice, you beat the 20. Okay. So you sit there for a time, and in doing so, you wind up focusing your energy and your ability in the resurrection of others. You use your son as the primary catalyst, trying to link up his own body of flame with your own, and you try to bolster that, granted additional energy. And in doing so, she sort of sighs and says, well, this won't work for resurrection, so how about I teach you a different spell? This is something that will only work on the undead, and as such, it will work on yourself. I'll give you a choice of 3. And let me post the spells. Okay? These are the spells that she was using in the conflict that you all got into before. 1, 2, and 3 in the chat in this case will be these. Bone Armor. You sustain 6 less damage from all sources, deal 1d6 to all those adjacent to you that attack with physical attacks in adjacent squares, can be detonated whenever you wish to deal 1d6 damage to all adjacent creatures. Undead Might, gain 1d6 bonus on all rolls until the end of the act, effect doubled on undead. Or Health Siphon, whenever you deal damage, you heal equal to the damage dealt up to a maximum of 3. You may end this effect to regain health equal to the damage dealt with no restriction. 1, 2, or 3, folks. I'm seeing a lot of 2s and help our son. We have no health. 2. Okay. It seems like the main focus is Undead Might. 2. She raises a hand, and then actually stops, turns, looks over. All right. In that case, you're going to need to act along with me. Necromancy in this art requires a lot of bodily movements in order to functionally turn oneself into a casting instrument. If you can't assume the proper postures, you won't be able to cast spells to begin with. Think of yourself less as a staff user or a wand user, and more as if you're turning your body into a staff. Staves or other implements can be used to heighten the effect, but frequently require you to relearn the spell. In this case, I use the entirety of my armor, robes, and even these masks as casting implements. The shape of your casting is very important in this case. So, focus along with me. And you're gonna do so. Ooh. Okay. Oh my god. You begin to try to channel the magic. Trying to feel out with your body as a casting implement. And as you do, you manage to not only cast Undead Might, it comes all too naturally. Your sun begins to burn brightly with power. Very nice. I didn't expect you to take to it so easily. I thought your unique situation might actually make this more difficult for you. But it seems to be quite the opposite. You seem to be a natural. Your son takes off through the air, a brilliant burning comet, dancing through the skies. He he circles you all as you continue the conversation. She did mention your rather unique situation. It seems like she at the very least knows what's happening with you. So, you know what's happening with this body of mine then? She nods. She points over at the stone circle. This is the location where I found you dead. Or, not dead, but dead in the same way that those scattered around the city are dead. Dead and mindless, bound to this land yacht. She looks over at you. Did you see what happened when I severed that other undead? You nod. Well, I did the same thing to you. Look down at yourself. You parse your memories of coming to this land, and you look over at the path to the bonfire. It makes sense. If the necromancer severed your connection to whatever's happening here, and then you wandered your way over there, maybe even the sage found you, that would be where your memories began. You look at the stone circle and you connect things up. You fell in this location, you were bound to this place, and then you look over at her. She's the one who set you free of your chains in this place, in theory. Oh, of course. And I take this chat suggestion. Thank you for breaking the chains that bound us. You're right yourself. In moments like this, showing no small amount of compassion is probably the wisest idea. At least appreciation. It would be impolite or ungrateful to say otherwise. She smiles at you. Well, the least you could do in this case is do as I originally asked. Show me where your freedom guides. Well, my freedom is currently guiding me into a one-on-one confrontation with you. She stops and actually laughs. I think you should come back when you're a little more prepared. I don't exactly find myself in the mood right now. You find her lightly smiling at you. It's a strange sensation. I see. You're a little frustrated. You thought that this would lead directly into the combat, and yet your other selves begin to speak up. Hey, listen, she just did us a big favor. Let's let her take whatever time she needs. Plus, we've got other things to do, right? Why should we... Wait, hold on. She's actually proving to be pretty amicable right now. I don't think we should press too much. No, try to get whatever information we can. If we can squeak by without a fight, maybe we can figure out what we're even doing. I want the fight. Okay. You fold your hands, and sort of hold a hand up, your son lands in it. In that case, if it's okay, I actually have a few questions. She tilts her head slightly. And you go. Back downstairs. And start to walk. Back towards the village of ghosts. She trails behind you as you continue to cradle your son. You look over your shoulder. First of all, is it okay if I leave this guy with you? I mean, they can't pursue their freedom or whatever if they're dead, so you seem to know what these little guys need. You think, looking down at them, you do not know what your son eats. Yeah, I can keep track of them at the village. Second of all, guess I've got some questions about this place. She tilts her head. Well, I promised to only reveal the truth if... No, I don't necessarily need the truth. Actually, why do I have to fight you to get the truth to begin with? You feel her eyes almost pinching to a tired narrow? Mostly, I'm interested in seeing if you are... I guess let me start at the beginning. She shifts her way around and moves up front, making sure to draw your attention this way. It's funny. You can tell you're agitating her slightly, but whatever it seems to be working. She walks backwards and looks over at you. This kingdom of Vinyat. Well, I'm unfamiliar. Up on the Deep Earth and Sacred Lamina, what sort of creation myths do you all follow? You shrug and shake your head. God's created the world. God's created the world, of course. Well, the truth is, the world began with nothing but ocean. And then, there was a flash of rainbow light. From that light, this segment of the world was created. The land, and everything that was contained within it. All life sprung forth from that. And the source of this light can be traced back to, she taps her foot on the ground, this kingdom of Vinyat. As such, this place became a focus of not only magical energy, but religious study. This kingdom in ages past prospered. Now, the Demon War, one that you and I participated, that wasn't the first of its kind. Vinyat itself was host to the first. The king of this land, an ancient alchemist, was counseled by a wise sage. She told him the way that not only this kingdom, but the secret that it held, path to godhood, could be not only protected, but maintained for the health of this place and the world at large. It leads you down a passageway, and you find yourself entering the depths of God. Given time, the king found the natural end of his rule to be approaching. His empire was grand, but it would not outlive his death. As such, the secret that he safeguarded, the very secret of creation, was something that he wished to pry from the sage. In that day, he tried to no avail to get her to produce the secret of it. It was at this point that a second individual appeared. Let's call them the devil. She places her hand on the wall. You have obtained Sunspot, I believe. And as such, the door slowly slides back, giving way. With obtaining Closing Note as well, this passage no longer bars us. You move deeper into the sealed crypt behind her. The devil whispered in the king's ear, saying that through divine rite and ritual, the secrets for divinity and immortality can be obtained even by lowly mortals. The gods did not answer, but they could be made to. This is when the first demon war broke out. The sage, along with an array of heroes, managed to fight back the encroaching hordes. Apparently, their summoning was crucial to not only the ritual that the king wished to perform, but it was tied to the grand alchemy of this place. She places her hand on the sealed door in front of her. And You almost walk up next to her. Vineyard, as it stands, should be an area that none have access to. Do you know why? You slowly shake your head back and forth. It is the same as the necromancy that I just taught you. This kingdom is a divine instrument, meant to force out a singular miracle. This defiance of liars does indeed have the potency and the power to coax out the miracle of God, but perhaps not in the way that everyone expects. He places a hand on the door. The ancient king of this land still sleeps here. He waits for his chance to sever his own mortality, and in the process, sever those around. You slowly raise your hand, and there's a spark as you pull back. You get a distinct vibe that you cannot pass through this door because you are not kingly enough. Your fingers recoil and slowly open, one after the other. The participants in this ritual are invited to kill one another until none remain. But there is a secondary truth to this. The miracle will be split between the last surviving competitor and one of the bodies supplied as a segment of the ritual. This ancient king believes he and another will obtain godhood in this way. Those that die are sacrifices, potential vessels for him to inhabit. She looks back over at you. You are not one of the 6 competitors. And yet, I am certain you know where I'm going with this. She points beyond that door. Those that die within Vinyat have their souls contained. They are bound to the throne of this place, and their bodies belong to the king of this land. I have indeed severed you, as I have severed other undead here, but given time, you will relapse, or, at worst, become his new vessel. Back over here. I am holding back on some individual facts about your own existence because, to be fully blunt, I do not believe you to be capable enough to handle the responsibility that come with your binding to this place. She turns. That is something that you will need to prove to me. Yes, I love it when lore wins out. You pause and think. You've got a good idea of what this trial is now. This is a ritual to obtain whatever power is contained in this land. It seems necessary that a certain amount of sacrifices be thrown to the fire, and yet, you look around. So, what do we need to get past that door? If my soul is past there, all I need to do is smash the place up, right? She turns and actually looks down that passage. A ring is required, a sigil of the king, to enter the final room. You should prepare yourself, however. Right now, none of the competitors have died. This is a very good thing. He will not be able to take a vessel, but he has a backup prepared. There is one individual guaranteed to act as his vessel. And even if you should manage to liberate them from the chains that bind them, she points over at you. You will become his vessel in the worst possible scenario. You need to find a way to free yourself once and for all. She starts to walk over, and the secret to that is something that I probably hold, yes. And I only get that from a one-on-one fight. Yes, you're following. She hops up on the rock, and you sit down next to her. Okay? Last question. Actually, no, not last question. Good suggestion, chat. I'm Blue. Do you know what the Malori want from this? What the Malori want from this? Oh! The Mortal Crime Syndicate that bet against the changing of the age? Yes, I do. She folds her arms. I'm actually quite familiar with the Malori family. They used to be, let's say, an employer of mine. They made a deal with, or I suppose, their history has always made them tied to Vineyard in some deeper or more profound way. When the Second Demonic War broke out, it created the proper conditions in order for the Defiance of Liars to be properly administered. All of the competitors have been gathered here by Malori spies in some capacity. They used their vast network to whisper in the ears of motivated individuals who could act as a good vessel for the king. The Malori gain from this new leadership and a god that listens to them. They know that during the last age, they made the incorrect bet. They did not believe that my people could fight back the demonic invasion. Most of their planning, their framework, was set for a full-on demonic occupation. As such, they're scrambling. If this plan does not work for them, they likely will not survive the shifting of the age either. They need a god to support them. A lot of what she says is fascinating. And we've got lore locked in, so... Realization. You speak with certainty about a lot of this stuff. Not only the gods, but the Malori and their plans. How exactly do you know even a fraction of this? She sits back, starts kicking her feet. Did you know the gods actually do exist? I've met one of them. For services rendered during that great war, I was allowed to come face to face with them. And they did, for me, what this land promises to do for the rest of you. She turns around and places both of her hands down, staring up and over your son directly at you. They severed my mortality. I was allowed to become a demigod. That smile intensifies. You realize that in challenging you, you are challenging something likely far and above your weight class. She leans back. The ritual that's going to take place in Old Vineyard could lead to the ascension of a new god, but that ultimately doesn't concern me very much. That devil I spoke of, they were a grand demonologist. I'm interested in what secrets they left in this land. It's their teachings that allowed me to learn my art, and it's those teachings that allowed me to be recognized. It's those teachings that have allowed me to transcend the bounds of life and death, and that is what motivates me. I've been reframed and reborn. I am the judge of liberation. My goal is to find something kinder than the afterlife we all experience. As such, I need as much knowledge as physically possible, which is why beings like you have so much hope. She stands up. Fight your hardest. Redefine the bonds between life and death, and become something that changes the nature of not only this world, but the cruelty of the cycle that rests on its back. If you're able to evolve into something beyond, I'll cherish the time that I spent here, and I'll be so glad that I was able to separate you from the bonds that bound you. But alternatively, If someone else is chosen as a deity in this place, I will witness them and smile just the same. This is the defiance of liars, after all. A gathering of heretics that intend to stand against the very nature of the world. I expect big things from you. But just the same, I expect big things from all of the undead here. That one included. She holds her arms open, and your son just flies over. And boom! Lands in her arms. she, slowly nods and, like, begins to move off in this direction, and you pause. I see another suggestion in chat, another very good one. Oh, a bunch of them. Oh my god. A bunch of good suggestions. First of all, and the Malori, they don't work as a vessel? She looks over at you. If the king takes the Malori as a vessel, I expect you to be able to handle it. The king will be stronger than whatever the original vessel was, their fused essences being powerful, but if the king winds up taking the Malori as a vessel, let's call that the absolute last resort. If that happens, well, I think any of the competitors here will be able to handle that particular issue. She lightly laughs. Next. And if no one wins this contest, is that the ending you desire? You think. You genuinely consider this for a moment. And I want to ask a very important question. You've heard what your colleagues have said so far. You know what they want from this. You think about the Moonblood, think about the Caster, about the Pioneer, you think about her. Then you think about the Solar Knight. This is a very important decision. If this ritual has the capability of producing a god, of severing mortality, if you're able to defeat the king's machinations, stop the possession, if you're able to elevate one individual from those arrayed before you here, is there anyone that you would trust with the power and ability of a god? Is there anyone here that you would elevate from their mortal coil? Chat, this is one of the most important decisions in the game. I'm going to indicate this with text because I need you to know what you're choosing here. She watches you with eyes that are unclouded. There will be no judgment regardless of what you say. You look at the woman in front of you and you realize she wasn't lying. Her main focus here is freedom. The freedom to choose whatever you want. And if your decision is that this should all come to nothing, okay. Hold on. I've got to do this on the jam layer because I don't want anybody voting ahead of time. Okay. There we go. No, there's no third option. You only get two. Option 1. One or two, chat. You've got some time. There is no 3. Oh, this is really good. Okay. I want you to remember what you answered. And most importantly, for those that said 1, those that said 2, you think deeply about this. Two paths move out in front of you. Is there one that you would trust with the mantle of godhood? A few names and faces move in front of you. This could be the necromancer herself. It could be the caster. Could even be you. If a face came to mind, please remember who you thought of in this moment. The second option, I would see this ritual undone. You think about that. The weight of what that means. If the magics of this land are allowed to come to rest, those bound here will be able to slip away. The new age will begin. You too can finally find rest as this age finally comes to a halt. Alternatively, could try to find some way to stick gum in the gears, create a problem, disrupt everything, and make sure that something maybe different happens. And then for everyone that chose 3, a third option. Why did you pick that? Why are options 1 and 2 not enough for you? For anyone that picked 3, actually no. For anyone that picked 1 first, in chat, I want to know what name came to mind. Respond briefly. This is important. Okay. One name resonates deeply with you. Her face comes to mind almost instantly when the prospects appear in front of your eyes. And then, for everyone that picked 3, why did you pick 3? These are great answers. You slowly exhale, considering all the reasons that echo around in your mind. But they all boil down to a similar theme. The idea of picking one out of this trial, which you have put so much effort into preserving the all, feels cruel. Everyone escapes or nothing, but buried beyond that, you come to a secondary realization. Your hand slowly opens and closes. You think about all those that you've met here. You look over at the necromancer. God or no, even if the ritual completes, there is another reality. All or nothing. This concept can be accomplished regardless of what decision you make. Saving everyone was always an option. It's what you've always fought for. It's what exists in front of you. Regardless of whether you chose one or two, you were going to fight your best to save everyone. So why did that choice still have meaning for you? You look down at your hand. And you come to a realization. Because neither ending saves you. You feel like you've gotten to the truth behind the meaning of that decision. You'll save your friends just the same, ritual ending or not, even if it comes to, regardless of what ending it comes to. And so you stand, and you take a step over in this direction, and your voice echoes out. I think I'm invested in finding an ending that gets me out of this. Godhood or not, I'm not interested in something like that. It might be selfish, it might be greedy, but I want that good ending to extend to myself as well. She actually pauses, a little surprised at that answer. As I said, your soul is bound up in that throne room. Your chances of escape are almost nothing. The undead don't exist in this land. It is only by the mercy of this ritual, or individuals like myself, that beings like you are allowed to carry on. Normally they burn away with the morning sun. You understand that, right? You've died. She's not saying you should accept this. She's not saying that you need to take this in a specific direction. As always, it is the gentlest touch upon your mind, but you can't help but think back. An old warrior once told you that the end goal of these battles, those that carry on and fight after fight, is to eventually accept one's with dignity. Warriors do not fight for any reason other than to reach a point in which they can calmly pass on, understanding the fullness of their lives. Most do not ever reach that point. And you feel how long you've fought in this body. How many battles you've gone through. And there is a calm realization that hits you in this moment. You express something from the depths of yourself, not guided by any attribute. It is a voice that comes from you. Death is not an answer. Pause. This goal that was endlessly extending in front of you, it's not something that you could ever wrap your head fully around. Next answer. Laughs. And that's an answer from you, correct? You nod. All right. Well, let's let the others speak again then. I'm sure they have their own opinions. But for now, remember that decision. It might lead you to a better outcome. Oh my god, your other attributes have strong... Beast of God is utterly silent in the face of this. They express nothing. I'm sure we'll find a way around. If our soul is trapped over there, all we need to do is figure out some way to rebind it to someone else. Maybe we could get out of here with the necromancer, or find another route. Yeah, I don't really want to die. Really, really don't want to die. I think we can trust her. Genuinely. I think at the very least, she's told us the truth so far. This is what we should be turning over in our heads. No becoming a vessel, no just fading off into the sunrise. Okay, everyone? Let's find a way out of this. I wonder. Are we the ones making this decision? What do you mean, Chief? Yeah. What are you talking about? Is this a decision we should make? This is a level of control that, I think at the very least, shouldn't be left to us. There's silence. I don't really get it. Yeah, I'm not following. We're us, so we get to decide, right? Beast of God turns over and looks at the necromancer. Freedom, right? She nods. Right. I'll keep that in mind. Also, prepare yourself. You didn't clarify if it was a duel to the death, correct? No, it will not be. I don't think it'll be very meaningful for either of us. Functionally, both of us are immortal. At least right now. Alright. In that case, I'm going to prep to the best of my abilities. Until then, I am going to gather my allies, and I am going to find this ring. And if I need to seize my soul back for myself, I will do so. However, the matter of whether or not I live or die, I trust to the night. Beast of God walks away, and the necromancer smiles. Maybe we will have an unexpected outcome then. I wish you the best of luck. She silently disappears. As you return, preparing yourselves to hunt out a ring and seize your soul back. And we're gonna take a break. Hey Chad, how's it going?
Yo, chat.
Hello. Yo, chat, we got lore this session. I'll be right back.
Yeah, lore. Lore, just like the fact that, did you know until January 2nd, subs are 25% off and bits give us more bits? That's right. Just a little fun fact. Also, that's September
crazy.
Creature is back. Yeah, I know, right? And as always, thank you for the people in the Discord for voting on the votes and deciding certain things at the start of the sessions. Yeah, look at those creatures.
Lovely.
So excited I'm able to make my first Stabbyness stream. Welcome.
Nice.
Don't forget to follow so you can get those number emotes, so you can spam those in chat when there are decisions. How are you enjoying the session? I'm enjoying the session. I'm just vibing and watching, you know? I'm too lazy to pull up my phone and type my own answers, so I'm satisfied with everyone else's answers for the most part.
I feel ya.
Yeah. 20 bits, thank you. Also, if anyone wants to sub, this is the time, because we can actually read it out. But yeah, no, shit's good. Shit's coming to, the tension is building. My first Stabbyness stream too. Nice. Halo Heretic 15 poggers. When I saw someone say my first Stabbyness stream, I thought it was gonna be someone that like a name I recognize. Like, you're lying to me. It's like me going up and be like, "Hi, this is my first Stabbyness stream too." Smile. What do you think about how things are going? It's cool. Oh, Red Map Fire, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Meme Nightman. Meme Nightman. Yo, Meme Nightman. Oh, is this your first stream? Yeah. 100%. I'm so lost right now. My first stream too, totally. Yeah. Hello, I've super not been here for 3 or so years. I mean, you're here now, so that's all that matters. Yeah. Whoa, new mote until January 2nd. Which attribute is the most Aloha core? Beast of God, 100%.
Yeah. We love Beast of God in this house.
Beast of God.
Beast of God. Chat, how you doing? I love all the voices. Beast of God. I'm loving our new dad as well. How did Jay enjoy our third? I really respect you guys. Me going, no, there's only option 1 or 2, and like everyone who answered 1 or 2 is extremely based, because I got to immediately follow up with, what? Why did you pick this? What came to mind? Why did you pick this? This is important. That made a decision. That certainly did make a decision. Can we put other attributes in Undead with Necromancy? Oh, that's a very clever idea.
It's a fun idea, yeah.
Welcome back, Honor Spell! It's time! September creature! Welcome to the ring wall session, I guess. Jesus. How much were you expecting the 3 to win out? It's really tricky because it's like...
Yeah, once... it's that kind of thing of once people, like, find an option like that, it's like... I feel like it's natural that people would pick a third option if people are pushing for it, right?
So
once that
it's
idea's
weird.
in your brain.
It's weird because I didn't actually count how many people were voting for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
I more went, each of these options has like a valid reason for why you should pick it. And I'm less interested in which one you're picking and more interested in why. Yeah, exactly. So like, I wasn't actually counting too much. I don't know actually if 3 was the most common. I was just curious, like, why are you picking 1? Why are you picking 2? Why are you picking 3? And like, I got my fucking answers. We crafted a narrative together, everyone. Like, that was a thing of fucking beauty, genuinely.
Yeah.
Oh, like, man.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Yeah, no, that was very cool. I'm turning over what this means for the remainder of the session in my head. Sorry, I just like, you ever get that GMing moment where you're handed like liquid hot fire and you're like, oh, what the fuck do I even do with this?
Yeah.
I'm the producer of the liquid hot fire.
You do supply that fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're squatting up. Hey Ringwall, hey, I gotta ask you a question. Time to roll your stats. I get to initialize your character sheet. That's a thing of fucking beauty. Yeah. Now you know she's a demigod. And you get this stat.
Whoa.
So you have it. At
Yeah.
a +9. Okay. Judge of Liberation.
Yo, Kyle the Warrior, thank you for gifting 5 subs to the community and
Kyle
also
the Warrior,
resubscribing.
thank you for all the subs. Oh my god.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay. Girl's yellow as her highest. Fuck.
Expected
sure.
more colors for a demigod. I mean, hey man,
Go for
sometimes
attributes.
it's
Listen.
not about quantity, it's about quality.
Listen, also, she's only gonna go all out when you're going face to face with her next session. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I hope you guys are ready for some boss fights of a fucking lifetime. Just to quickly describe what you should be prepping for. You said you'd go one-on-one with Ringwall. She is this game's super boss that must be fought alone. Get fucking ready for that. And then obviously everything that's happening with the king right now. That is your fights. You fight with the squad super boss. So prep yourself. Get yourself ready. Next session, yes. You're not fighting her this session. That would be the rest. That would be the rest of the session, and you got a fucking ring to find.
Oh, that's next session. Great. We have time to buy health. You really think chat's gonna buy health?
Yeah, you think chat's gonna buy health? Listen, chat. You could do one of two things. You can keep all your attributes even, get them all to +9, and wind up with like 45 HP at the end of this game. Or you could get 9 million health and become yoked out, but stay at +7s. Like, chat, what do you think you're gonna do? Simply do not get hit. It's easy. Y'all, you gotta be so ready for Ringwall's boss mechanics, because a lot of them are dodge or take an ass load of damage. So chat, survival is gonna be on you guys, and not your stats more than you expect. Just hit the water. It's easy. Okay. Listen, we just need the pioneer. We bring the water, yeah.
Fuck you, Knight. I brought a bendy straw and I drank all the moisture out of the ground.
It was within my freedom to drink all of the water with my giant bendy straw. Okay. Flood the area. Okay. I think we're good. In that case, let's bring us back to the squad.
Good luck.
Thank you. Later. Okay. You return to the little area you've set around in town. Walk in. Oh, of course. Alright, everyone. This is more or less what I've learned. Lore catches everyone up. If any other statted... I mean, no, if Orange had rolled maximum also, you would have caught all of your squad up. But yeah, you fill them in on everything that's happening, everything you're intending. Like, you get them ready. And, the discussion finishes with Moonblood immediately. It's just a door, right? Why don't we just like rip it down? We just hit it a bunch. Yes, it shouldn't be too big an issue. Like, maybe we could cheese past it in some way. You put up your hands. With a group this powerful, I think it might be easier to just go into the little dungeon area, find whatever being is carrying the ring that we need, and take it out. So far, it seems like the two keys have been carried by rather powerful individuals from the area, but with all of us together, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Solar Knight sort of like takes a step forward. I'm fairly confident in our ability to take things like that out. The only point of concern would be some sort of ambush by the Exile or the Necromancer, and then you hear footsteps from down the way? Oh, from who? Ringwall actually joins your company. You all turn over and look at her for a moment. Yeah. An ambush from her. You stare. I thought I would, at the very least, observe what you all are getting up to. There's no reason for us to be strangers. Good enough for me. The Moonblood, like, shrugs. I have no issues with this as well. Now, the number of my countrymen outnumbers those that aren't. Very nice. Or I guess it's squints. Even numbers? Ah, you're an honorary member, huh? Moonblood tilts her head. You stare over at her. There's a momentary disruption. Please, carry on with your meeting. I'm simply here to observe. She moves her way to the background. Walks over. Hey, what did you talk to her about? Why is this happening now? You look over. We talked to her about freedom. And also parenting. That'll give her the wrong idea! Mostly, we just communicated about what we're doing. We don't have reason to be enemies, so let's get along. Okay. I mean, sure. It's... she, like, looks over. Right, okay, yeah. She turns you around. I've been mostly fighting her. Like, she's been the one that I've been going head-to-head with. You sure we're, like, good? You look over at Ringwall. To tell you the truth, I get the genuine sense that if she was poking you or prodding you, it was probably because she wanted something from you. Or wanted to, like, draw your potential or exercise your or something. You're probably fine. It's fine, right? Yo! It's fine, right? You turn around and look over to Ringwall. Ringwall just quietly smiles in the distance, eyes unblinking. Yeah, I think she thinks it's fine. I don't know how you got that from that, but sure, okay. I'll trust you. Again, for now, it hasn't gone bad except for half of the time, where it goes terrible. She, like, turns. Okay, so I guess, since we have pretty much everyone assembled here, let's go. What path are we taking? Weirdly, this is important. On the left, I posted a 1. That leads through the boss area, through the area that you just chilled with Ringwall, learning to raise the dead. Or 2, you walk down through the approach, take the tower, enter the caves, etc. Okay. Oh, that's fun. Okay, okay. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 2s. You start to walk ahead. Okay, time to lead the way, and when you go, you will, of course, collect your pure H2O. You start to travel, and you make it to this area. This is fun. Okay. here. And your squad walks in the distance as Moonblood sprints up behind you and is like, hey, you gonna carry a weapon? You gonna pick anything up? You pause and turn. Oh, yeah. Yes, I think it probably would be wise to carry something with you. Okay, chat, time for a decision. Father of the Faithless, Fateless, what attribute do they carry? Is it 1, sword and shield, 2, the rifle, or 3, the hammer? Or no, I'll do 3, the knuckle claws. We already got 2 hammer on this team. 1, 2, or 3? Sword and shield, rifle, claws. And they all have been leveled up. Two. 1, 1. Oh, a lot of ones. Okay. Oh man, hard choice. Which means it's time for the coin. We all abide by the coin's decision. I roll a 1d3. Regardless of what we get, it's what we get. 1, sword and shield, 2, rifle, 3, claws. 1, sword and shield, okay. You pick up the sword and shield necromancer. Okay, that's actually extremely badass. I want to focus mostly on buffing people and supporting my allies, so I was thinking about taking the sword and shield. The upgraded sword and shield. Now, whenever you ignite to block, you may lock out additional dice, and all of those are maximized. So, if a big attack is incoming, and you have the sword and shield, you can raise your shield, lock out a dice, and ignite to block, and then lock out additional dice to add an additional 6 of block. So, you can currently block up to 24 damage with your sword and shield. Literally, if you want, you can just tank hits. Okay. You prep your sword and shield, and you make your way downwards. And, of course, you position yourself at the wall. You knit your fingers together. On cue, this one moves her way over and stands next to you. What's happening? What is this? Everyone approaches. The Solar Knight stands there a little aghast, staring at you. Come on, uppies. Yes, uppies. She's smiling next to you. Okay, don't have to tell me twice. You place yourself there. She gets her. Hup! She lands up on the wall and starts moving. Sure, thank you so much. Yes, of course. Walks, stares. Okay, bro, up you go! You try! Hold on. You try and you leave them scrambling across the front of the wall? That looked miserably bad. You fling up and over, touches down, lands, and starts to scoot off in this direction. The caster slowly crawls his way up. And you look over at these two. Please, after you, I insist. No, I can be the one to throw you up there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I've done this before. She places herself here. You stare between the two of them. You quietly. Move your way over here. And then decide. Oh, yeah, you're locked in already. Roll. you to. You move your way over to Solar Knight. She knits her hands, and then you're like, okay, see you guys on the other side. You land up here. She puffs out her chest with pride. Ringwall stares and is like, that's fun. Yeah, it is. And then the Solar Knight jumps and lands next to you. Ringwall simply waits. Oh my god. Do you need a hand? Ringwall stares up. Oh, yes, that'd be great. Yanked up and over, continues to watch. The Solar Knight, sort of strutting proudly, moves out front. Ringwall is following behind, grinning from ear to ear. Moonblood and the Pioneer, crawl across, why are they so loud back there? Honestly, I don't know, but they don't seem to be noticing. You stare across the way, and you see the undead down there. And, the caster sort of whispers back. They filled us in on exactly what you're doing in this area. Have all those been freed from their control? Yes. It seems that they have some sort of memory of what they used to do in Old Vineyard. Their souls are contained, but, so they're currently autonomous beings, so we shouldn't just kill them. She doesn't answer. It's your decision whether or not you kill them. Right. Okay. Moves back, jogs back up front. Almost looking to the Solar Knight for permission. We're not killing those, right? No, of course not. And your squad moves its way down into the caverns. You walk to the entrance of the deeper catacombs, and you see extending out in front of you a large area full of the undead. You prep yourself, nod at the squad, and then stride forwards. And we immediately get into combat. Okay, guys. Welcome to the last big dungeon combat of the game. This is gonna be a very fun one. I require about 2 seconds of setup. I require my 1, 2, and 3. I hide them off the map. Okay. You charge into the cavern alongside the Solar Knight and simply lay into the individuals in front of you. You're going to lock in Bloom for hammer, for leveled up hammer. Roll to do complex. This would. No. Oh my god, okay. She will close in with good old Sunspot. Okay. She gets a stack of Holy Might. 1. You close in and you just slam your hammer into the shield bearer up here. I'm not even gonna roll for defense, it doesn't matter. There is their shield to reduce the damage taken, but you aim for the 5 spaces of knockback and send them hurtling into the abyss below. They fall and disappear with a splash. The Solar Knight swings her axe down as there's a rush, as the Whispered Moonblood lands next to them. 2d6 plus 4. Okay, the attack barely traveling through, the spear catches them under the helmet and sort of forces them backwards, a gout of blood being produced. Caster is going to enter the area and begin casting. Okay, that'll just get a 1d6. They are holding the spell, and of course, the Pioneer will close in and shoot. And the attack actually goes to the defender as the shot pings off of the top of the shield. This shield bearer holding strong. Ringwall's gonna sit here. Ringwall ain't doing shit. Okay. You functionally enter the combat and you scour the area around. Everyone closing in against the shield bearer lets out a guttural cry, and you realize this is another liberated soul as the defenders back here slowly start to rise up. You see undead snipers in the back. And there. And then you look over here. And from the depths of this crypt, a figure slowly wrenches itself outwards. One of the furthest gone undead touches down and starts to scramble along the side of the cliff, almost disappearing into the darkness. Okay, it's time for a decision. 1, 2, 3. Option 1. This is what Beast of God wants to do. Charge through the darkness. There is a barely visible bridge, surrounded on either side by a sheer cliff drop down into oblivion. You can tell that there's rushing water at the bottom. If you fall down here, you'll likely die. But they believe you can make it to the other side. You need to charge those archers and lock them down. Option 2. Move to the side of this cliff and start to secure the area. However, you see coffins lining either wall. You think it might be important to lock them down before anything happens. Or option 3, take care of this guy in front of you and move with your group. A further decision coming later. Okay. Seeing a lot of 2. You turn and look over. Take care of that one. And then run in this direction. You charge over here and in this moment, she uses marionette dance and moves along with you. You enter this space and sort of try to secure the area. I'm going to roll to die to select which swing. Oh, this is good. Lore locks in almost by reflex as something swings from the nearby darkness and welcome back. A knife cuts through the air in front of you as you quickly dart to the side. You move in this direction, Ringwall sliding along with you again. You raise your shield up as boom. He touches down on the ground and then boom. Boom. They touch down behind you, and you see over here more of these figures gathering all around you. You should know, we Maluri are great at using tunnels. And then, over here, again, the Solar Knight sees you locked up in this situation, is currently engaged with the shield bearer, and because you selected her as your secondary character, she's gonna make a decision. Which of your allies are you sending over to help the protag? 1, 2, or 3? Okay. Seen a lot of. Oh my god, tough decision. Okay. I'm doing a three-way coin flip again. This is a rough one. 2. Oh, that's very funny. Solar Knight. Solar Knight sees the knight get surrounded off in the distance with just Ringwall, and then starts to process in her mind what the best move would be, and remembers those moments during the last combat. She looks over, tilts her head to the Moonblood, and is like, you and I have this one, right? We can charge the distance, plus your leaping should be able to navigate us across really easily. Yeah, I got your back. She smiles at her, turns around, and looks over. Caster, protect the knight. Make sure that they're okay. You guys have your bond of brotherhood. She tries to understand. Yes, of course. I will protect my bro. Runs off. Pioneer, you're with us. All right. You think you can navigate a bridge that precarious? Oh, easily, actually. Okay, then. Let's take this guy out. The three of them focus down as your trio rushes over here dealing with the various Mallory. Okay. I'm going to open up the Mallory's character sheet. And then do pop it. Versus... Oh my god, he's so fucking ready to gut you. Okay, so the Mallory are gonna go first. We love this for them. Let me grab their ability. God, I hate them. Okay, here we go. Wait a second. Oh no, it isn't saved on their sheet. That's a shame. Hold on. Okay, that's fine. You're getting reskinned to an undead bandit. That's a shame. Undead bandit. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah, here we go. Lacerate. And you've got Poison Strike on top of this. This is worse, actually. Versus a 21. 25, okay. The first one crosses over, sweeping a blade, and then ending up over here. You raise your shield and catch it. Then the next one's gonna go. Lacerate. Roll to do. That is a crit 1. Laura again picks up their shield and takes another step backwards in this direction. The Mallory dances along the top of the wall, but they block, no issue. They touch down as, again, Ringwall lets out a very impressed noise. This last one moves in, raises their knife, and you raise your shield and you knock it the hell out of the way as the complete sequence of attacks that closes in did functionally nothing. Lore just slowly exhales. Move like water. Move like water. And then a knife cuts through the dark. 22. Wait, no. That's a roll to do. 22. The knife flies over, pings, and digs into you. You pick up 1 stack of Lacerate. Which does, it must be treated 1d6 damage each act. Okay, you're gonna do this, and then you pick up, you know what time it is. Yes, I did just try to cheap out kill you with poisons. Good job at not letting that happen. You pick up 1 stack of poison. Okay, that ain't that bad, actually. As well as 12 damage. Okay. Ignite to block. We feeling the ignite to block? Okay. The status effects will still go through, but we can negate that 12. That's not a bad idea. Okay. Yeah, we'll ignite to block, raise our shield, and lock out an additional attribute. Whatever rolls lowest, I will lock. Tracks. Green. Okay. So we're still at full HP. You exhale, frustrated, as this line of individuals bears down on you, and then your assist calls from behind. Bro, don't worry. I've got this. 1d6. Okay, with the casting staff, that'll be a 26. These two are lined up. They're going to release the wave of water, which we'll look at 26, 10, 6. Oh my god, they are utterly fucking cracked. You manage to block all of those incoming attacks, and you start to get a little frustrated, but then a beam of water lances past you, impales these two, and then they just fly into the abyss and disappear with 2 splashes. You, responding, charge forwards. This would be, you would take one of these two. Okay, Father of the Faithless. You move your way in, and, oh. Father of the Faithless is gonna be actually pretty smart about this. You move your way in, you roll the die. Go like this and this. Oh wait, you got the, holy shit, you got a 17 off of 2 locked attributes? That's insane. You move your way in, you snap your fingers, and from the crypt nearby, you use your new necromancy to cause one of these feral creatures to leap out and actually, let me grab them, Undead Feaster. That's nasty, okay. You realize that the crypts are full of them. Good job! Oh, God. Oh my god, good job picking this magic. Okay. Jump, leaps, lands. Mallory, roll to die. Does not beat. The Undead Feaster attaches, and I post Bite and Maul. On hit, attached to the target, dealing damage in the process. Deal 1d6 damage to any target that you're attached to at the start of each and every single turn, healing that amount in HP. The Undead Feaster simply attaches to the Mallory and is going to ride them to the ground, as you and Ringwall sprint past, and you make it here. And when you do, Ringwall is going to turn. Horrifying luck in this. Oh, crit 1, okay. Roll the die. That's awesome! She reaches out her hand, and you see her start to do the same motion she did before to free you from this being's grasp. And then she raises 2 fingers, sweeps them together, trying to cut that invisible thread almost. And you watch this individual stumble backwards and go, no, not you, not today. You didn't think we wouldn't be familiar with your tricks at this point. He levels his knife and actually preps himself, body language changing. Don't think we're not aware of you. Some big demigod now, huh? Wasn't always that way though, right? What was it? That family you wiped out, one of our cells! You were a little more than a maid. He readies his knife and preps it at you. You might fancy yourself something bigger, but once a Mallory, always a Mallory. Ringwell's expression actually widens a little bit. You feel that light smile turn a little bit heavier. Dear Knight. Yeah? I think I'm going to kill this one. She takes a step forwards. You pause. You get the feeling that if you turn around, you might get a preview of Ringwall's boss mechanics. But instead, you decide to leave your back to her and stumble up ahead, charging down this archer. The archer will take a shot at you. Okay. Undead Sniper. Roll to do. Ooh, you weren't locked? I've got to do that. Done. Lock. $13. Roll to die. You duck your head down. That'll be a clash. Oh my god! You charge up ahead, and you move your way in, swinging the sword and plunging it into the undead archer's chest. The shot, pinging off to the side. No, not now. She's having a character moment. You drop them to the ground and turn as I tick for your lacerate. 1 damage, it's healed instantly. Okay, very nice. Over here. We go do. Okay. 3 stacks of Holy Wrath. The Solar Knight swings Sunspot around, beheading this individual. They drop. And she starts to make her way in this direction. And the Moonblood will hop and charge the distance. Plus 2d6. I'm not even gonna roll it, but you know. She bounds, lands here. Jumps. Moves her way over to the next shield bearer. Sinks her spear in. The shield bearer will roll. The shield bearer is struck by the spear. Down here. Roll to do. No. The Pioneer's gonna actually hold his bullets. He makes it over here and sort of balances, struggling for a moment. The Moonblood is going to take 2d6 extra damage, take an additional turn, and keep stabbing. Roll 2d6 plus 3. And then the Pioneer is going to shoot the Moonblood. That will be roll 1d6, attack automatically hits versus allies. 2. Okay, she took 14 damage. She heals 9 of it and gets 3 stacks of Sacred Errata. There you go. She starts to feel better. It's like, turns around, offers him a thumbs up. He lightly bows as your squad bears down. Over here. Caster gonna cast again. Roll. 1d6 plus 6. 8, 20. Okay. That'll add a plus 4 bonus to the roll. Roll to do complex. 4. This shot travels directly at this Mallory. Roll to die. He dodges out of the way. Hey, Ringwall. He moves in. And Ringwall pauses, and you just see a skeletal arm emerge almost from nowhere. She sweeps her palm across, almost in the motion of like an open-handed slap, and then you realize, no, a bone arm is traveling with that. It crunches and simply grasps this Mallory, holding him up above the abyss for a split second as she simply watches and waits, staring into the undead's eyes. There is a flash of recognition. For the person that I once was, thank you for your kindness and your care over the years. I learned a lot secreted away in those libraries. The Mallory are a fascinating family. The Grasp Titans. You hear bones snapping off in the distance. Mortals that engage in death rituals. Such a fascination about the afterlife. There's no shock to me that you would become a legion like this. That the idea of deathless subservience would be preferable to continued existence. The grinding noise continues as the metal begins to bend inwards. But you overlooked something so simple. Your organization is made up of people, and people bend and break. I took everything I needed to learn from you all. And I took my freedom just the same. I intend to do the same for the rest of these individuals here. So for now, you're the one and only one. I will not grant the mercy of a free death. She clenches her fist and is gonna try to push back. He angles the knife downwards and starts to just drag it through the bone fist, allowing himself to drop down into the abyss. He, instead of disappearing over the lip and touching down in the water, you just hear that voice echo up. Those that were born into our family. It's a lifelong service. Now that your life carries on and on and on, you could have been our path into the new age. Why would you turn your back on the family? No one here is grateful. Look at us. This is what the future could be. They all spring from the abyss, scrambling up. She takes another step backwards and readies herself. That same bone arm almost springing to life around her. She gets ready to defend herself. And now, chat, we wind up in the absolutely insane position. Do you rush off to try to make it deeper in? Or do you close and try to defend a demigod? Okay, decision seems to have been made. You turn. And when you do, you step over to the side. You prep yourself. And roll this. 21, nice. Oh, plus 1d6. Nice, okay. That'll only be the plus 4. You get yourself in a line as down here. Your bro also rushes off ahead. You prep yourself as all the Mallory align themselves. They start to crawl up and out of the wall. You take aim, and this will add a plus 4. Oh. And he also would be getting a plus 4. Who else? Again. 1, 2, 17. Okay. God, these guys are so tenacious. I gotta calculate your last rate damage. 1! Oh my god, you do not give a shit. You aim down the way at the line of 3 Mallory, and you yell at the same time, looking across, "Bro, with me!" You fire the line, and you manage to connect a good shot that forces these 3 back and down a little bit. But as a result, the caster's shot goes wide, and she takes another few steps forward. and just going to try to help out. Oh, 25. You see her move over to the top of the wall, looking down at the aligned Mallory beneath her. And then she turns. And you can tell she's casting the exact spell that she just taught you. You feel power flow through your system as your body begins to overflow with undead might. Drop, die, this one. Fantastic. You watch as those aligned individuals in front of you, sort of like, they crawl their way up the cliff. First one, this one's gonna close in, this one's gonna close in. They are all going to attempt to jump you. One, two, three. You exhale, raise your weapon, and I calculate your bonuses right now. This plus this. 1. 2. 3. Okay. They all charge up and over the line, leaping out, picking up their knives, they throw them at you. But with the buff that currently runs through your body, you take your shield, jump forward, slam this one with the base of it in the chin, forcing them downwards. You take the momentum, slide halfway down the wall, dig your arm into the wall, long clawed fingers allowing you to maintain balance. You kick one of your feet down, sending the one that would have crit spinning away into the darkness. Oh wait, no, you're not. You're gonna boot this one under the chin, up and over in this direction, right about to here, and then as this one closes in, you grab them, use the momentum, and climb them back to the surface, raking your claws up their back, swinging your blade and catching them in the mask as you deal a significant amount of damage, and as they make it here, that was their turn. You were going to roll to do. I add the extra d6. I add this bonus. You kick this one, which you notice has stopped moving. And you focus in all of your profane Fulguris into that individual in this moment, causing their flame to run wild, and with a loud bang, they simply detonate, sending them all flying into the distance. She's gonna roll to die for this. She also flies and actually slams into the wall as you yell, "Sorry!" This one, bang, gone. This one, tumbling down, gone, gone, gone. Doink, doink, doink. They all explode into the distance as she hits the wall and lands and actually steadies herself. Sorry, I forgot about this guy over here. Oh, okay, you take 6 damage. Okay, the feasting undead gets to decide what happens to this guy. The feasting undead continues to bite this one and drives them backwards, and then they fall into the abyss below. Ringwall sort of steadies herself and is gonna marionette dance and just get back over to you. She moves her way into the space adjacent and is like, "You've proven to be quite canny with necromancy." You look down and sort of shrug. "Well, if I heard correctly, maybe it could be similar upbringing. We're both Mallory, right?" You smile at her. She lightly, she sighs and she's like, "Yeah, guilty as charged, I guess." Okay, you managed to keep her with you. The caster is going to attempt to keep up. We catch up over here. This guy is going to take a shot at the back of your head. You still have this until the end of the act. You were just rolling like a god because of it. Undead Might is very good, it turns out. You whirl around, and the second the arrow's almost flung at you, you dunk down, block with your shield, and charge, body checking this one, cracking ribs. They stumble backwards. And over here, this one's gonna take a shot. Probably not at you this time. Undead Archer. God, your build's kinda nasty, guys. Roll to do. No, you get this first. To do. Oh my god. Okay, she gets the clash. This one takes its shot, aims over at her. And the Moonblood spins this one in front of her, takes her spear, and just overarms it, and it boom, sticks in the top of this one's head. And it's not dead, but it does stumble backwards. And then we roll. It'd be her go. Tries to drive in the spear. $2d6 plus 4. She rolls a 10. They roll a 10. She stabs 4. She takes her bare hand and just drives it beneath their helmet, flips it off, and then drives her arm directly through this one's rotting head. They drop to the ground dead, and she moves forward again like a beast, grabs her spear and starts to yank on it. She will take 2d6 damage. She's dying a little bit, and then she stabs again. Roll. This would be a clash. 20 plus 6 plus 1. She stabs her spear down, carries this one to the ground, scattering it to bits, and the attack continues as your squad back here closes the distance. He will shoot the Moonblood again. She will take less healing. 1d6 plus 6. 8. Her stacks tick up by 2. The Pioneer makes his way back onto land. I roll for the Solar Knight. She easily crosses the bridge, making it to the other side. You make it up and over here. The caster moves. Is going to roll. And then take a shot. He shoots, and it carries through both Mallory. They cannot roll higher than that, and it is not a clash. Travels through. This one dies. This one stays up. Dropping down, continues to try to crawl his way up and over. The caster joining you over here. You make your way around the corner, barely ahead of your friends. Moonblood happily waves to you. You make it over here, and there are a few options up ahead. You're looking for something that carries the ring. So, one, head left across the bridge over there. Or, sorry. One, investigate the, what appears to be a dead end over here. 2, charge across the bridge over there. 3, regroup with the squad. We wave back. One and 3. Level 1s, level 3s. Coin time. Okay. 1. You make your way around the corner and charge, waving at the Moonblood. And she's like, damn, you guys got here fast. And then you charge around the corner and you see Probably down there is where you want to go, but Ringwall actually puts her hand on your shoulder and is like, wait. Remember what that Mallory so proudly told us a second ago. They're quite good at using their tunnels. Your undead might fades. And she points straight ahead. This likely will not lead to the king, the Ring of the King, but it might lead to wherever the Mallory are coming from. Do you have a vested interest in cutting this off at the source? If you... she looks back along the way. Your allies actually seem quite capable. Perhaps they could find the ring on their own. She holds her hand out for you. And for a minute, you feel that compulsion to take it. And then she actually stops herself. Ah, my apologies. I understand that is burdensome for you. She motions with her head. Shall we resolve our collective pasts? Or would you prefer to reach for a different future? It is not something of great consequence to me in either direction. I can handle this on my own if need be. You can tell. It's funny. When it comes to this, she is asking you directly for a favor. Up to this point, she was willing to just let you take whatever route you want. Do you go with her? 1. Or 2, travel across the bridge. Very important decision, squad. Now, chat, this is not what I expected you all to see. That's delightful, okay? Okay. In that case, you turn your head down this direction, and you look back over. You think about everything that you want from this place, what it means for your future. You see the possibilities alight in front of you. You turn over and you look at your squad. Lore, you slowly raise and lower your head and let out a call. Everyone, I'm going to take care of some nuisances. So, I'm counting on you to handle the rest of it. You're probably up against an enemy as strong as the Bagman that we fought earlier. But the 4 of you can handle it, right? Do you look over, and it's time. Decide. Who are you going to trust as your player character? I'm cutting out one of the 4 I'm cutting out one of these 4 randomly. 4? Okay. 2. Makes sense. Let's cut out H2 Bro in that case. For a 2. Because H2 Bro will, you know what he's gonna do. Bro's gonna cast. So, chat. We've done this before, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, who we playing? Ones, on 2s. I want to be feral. Oh man, this is a tough one. Okay, a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s. I'll flip a coin. Between 1 and 2. 2, Solar Knight. You lock in the same position, the Solar Knight strides forward. Be careful, but yes, we will handle it. She nods, charges off in this direction. Moonblood scampers behind you, waving happily, and you get the nod from the bro, and the Pioneer travels off in this direction as well. And you get to go to the one room I thought you'd never explore in this game. This is not necessarily a combat. This? No, we need some more music. You begin to crawl your way backwards through a tunnel. Actually, no, she'd be in the lead. She's like, come on, come on. She leads the way. And you travel in this direction. No, this is an outcome that could only happen if you somehow befriended Ringwall and rolled well enough to discover this area. You scramble your way through another emergency Mallory tunnel. As you do, you discover what appears to be an almost empty or reinforced room. And in it, you simply see one figure barely hanging on to life, slumped against the wall, staring up at you. I want you to look at this one. I want you to look at this one through the perception and the lens that you learned earlier. Beast of God, of course, stepping up. Love to see it. You stare straight ahead. Beast of God shakes their head. I'm not interested. I already know what I'm going to see. She takes a step forward as well. I'm sure you can sense it. This is one individual who became many. Through the same arts of necromancy that I use, one can be spread out over a great number of people. And you, I was intended to be used the same way. Yes, another puppet of theirs to manipulate things from behind the scenes. Again, I recognize that you are the one that freed me from this. She looks over. Bold of you to say that you're free. But, in the very least, I did indeed free you from them. You start to move closer. And then the figure arcs up, and lines of flame connect you two to it. Meanwhile, over here, you travel around the corner, still engaged in extremely tense combat. You can tell that more undead are bearing down on you. Particularly those feasters that were pouring out of the walls are starting to activate a little bit more at a time. Your squad makes their way down here, and almost pulling itself free from the stonework, this large figure emerges, stands, and lowers a grand shield in front of you. You come face to face with the melted shield bearer. Once a hero of this land, this individual fought alongside the Sage and suppressed the demonic invasion. They roll to die and get themselves prepped. So, chat, come up with something clever. This large... Actually, no. Come on, start giving me suggestions, but I'm going to start posting their abilities in chat. The very first that I'm going to reveal is very obvious. You can tell just by looking at them. Molten Wall. Begin any conflict with 9 stacks of Molten Wall. You sustain 1d6 less damage from all physical damage sources for each stack of Molten Wall. You gain immunity to all magic effects at 6 or more stacks. At the beginning of each of your turns, gain 1d6 stacks and deal 1d6 damage to all creatures within 5 squares for each stack below 9. Damage is doubled to every adjacent creature. Each time you successfully land a physical attack on your target, reduce the number of stacks by 1. If the physical attack is performed from an adjacent space, reduce the number of stacks of Molten Wall by an additional 1d3. If you're ever below 3 stacks, take an additional turn. So, to summarize, Molten Wall almost bars this creature from taking any damage until you hit it enough times. But the more you hit it, the faster it gets and the more damage you deal to it. It deals to you. So yeah, here's your Molten Wall. Let's use this one. That's hysterical. Okay, I'm gonna roll for the Solar Knight's brain cell. I love these suggestions. Boat dimension plus water casting. The Solar Knight looks between each of you for a split second. And you say, okay, I think I have an idea. We're going to need to use that technique of yours to drop it in the ocean. Is that all right? Oh, yes. No big deal. I should be able to do that, but I'm afraid I won't be able to do very much to it with my cannons. She shakes her head. The goal won't be to use the cannons. Instead, we're going to need to do something extremely risky first. She looks between herself, the Moonblood, and the Pioneer. We're going to attack it as much as possible from as close as possible. And when it is fully melted, then we need to drop it in water to attempt to resmelt it into a shape that is less problematic for us. Do you think that's doable? Whoa, so we're getting in deep, huh? Yeah, I could do that, nice and easy. Yes, I am capable of close-range combat. Looks over at the caster. I think you will be required to heal our wounds from the massive burn damage we'll be taking. Don't need to tell me twice. He moves to the back. Very well, I have your back. I wish the three of you luck. You square up. The Pioneer puts away his guns and squares up in the same martial arts stance. All right, then. I'm putting my life in your hands. Yes, and I yours, looking over at the Moonblood. And you can trust me with all your lives. She gets herself ready. Okay, let's close in. So, this figure will not go first. Instead, they are going to stay here and use the ability Shield Wall. Reduce all damage taken until the end of the act by 10. There is no way to deal any damage to it right now. So, first things first, Solar Knight is going to move in. Swing. The attack is... easily deflected with a shield. Kthung! They lose no stacks of Molten Wall. This one rushes in, though, taking the opening. And is going to roll to do. Oh, that's the Melted Shield Bearers. Oops. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Roll to die. Yeah, so. The Moonblood leaps into the air, stabs her spear straight down, and swings it. Oh my god, do you actually deal damage to this guy? Hold on. You take 96. 40, they're taking 40 less damage. So this is a crit. Crit plus 6, doubled, oh my god, okay, so 24, 30, double, yeah, they'll push. They actually want to see if they can hurt this thing. 24, double, 38, plus spear. It's only like 2 damage, but man, they proved their point. This thing raises its shield wall and preps itself, getting ready to withstand any attack. It literally withstood the flames of creation, and yet something somehow hits hits it harder than that. She leaps through the air, plunges the spear down, and divides a line through it as she rolls across the ground and steadies herself, barely pulling herself to her feet. She gets ready as cracks start to flow through the armor. And it loses 1 stack, and I will roll 2d3 instead. Okay, 2. As it goes down to this. The being, if it could express shock in this moment, certainly would. And then she takes this much damage. And she leaps forward, attempting to attack it again. This would be roll to die first. She gets to lock in one of these. We're gonna go red. Roll 2. This time it's ready. It manages to re-angle its shield up and prevent the attack from getting through as the Pioneer closes the distance. Rolls to do. Rolls to die. The Pioneer is going to try to triple tap it with Salt Style. Doink. Raises its shield. Easily defends. Rolls to do. Raises that shield. Oh, an attack gets through. Tap tap. It's the weakest little attack, but only dealing this much damage, which is easily stopped by the 66 damage prevention, but they closed in, and as a result, 1d3 additional stacks is going to be taken off, dropping it from a solid 5, or from a solid 6 to a 4. Okay. No longer immune to magic. That's great. The caster Profane Erodin comes to a sad realization. If he heals the Moonblood with her current stacks of Sacred Erodin, she will explode. So, he instead is going to... That thing's no longer immune to magic. Six. Okay, okay. Add this much of a bonus. There we go. Okay, the attack travels forwards. And this thing will not go down. End of the act. I roll 1d6. Restore 6 stacks. It is back up to full. And then, well, first it's gonna hit everybody for a bunch of damage. That's unfortunate. And it was missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Everyone around takes 35 damage as the flesh begins to bubble and melt from their skin. The fire emitting out. Moonblood stumbles backwards, barely holding on without a wound. The rest of them pull themselves away. The Pioneer letting out a call. Solar Knight like, steady, steady. And this Inferno raises up their hammer. And is going to use Fatal Bludgeon. This time it's not bothering with the damage shield anymore. Slams you with the Molten Hammer, dealing damage and knocking the target back a minimum number of spaces equal to the damage dealt. If this would send them into an object or obstacle, 2d6 extra. If it would send them off the cliff, they get a chance to save. Who is the... It's the Moonblood. I'm gonna be real, it's just the Moonblood. Okay. Do. Oh, okay, okay. Oh my god! The Moonblood was somehow ready for this, balances on her hands for a split second, and then just crawls across the ground, doing a flip and landing next to you. She's like, that Was close. I almost felt my life flash before my eyes. The pioneer like looks over like, what are we doing? What's the plan? Close in. We need to make sure we have to take this thing down. And of course, at the end of the act, we swap perspectives. You stand in a room. You're very familiar with it. Called to it time and time again. Secret bunker, just tucked to the side. Sent to the war, led there. Sent to die. Man in armor. Your body, your life, disposable. That's always how it went here. You look at that vague figure. You try to remember exactly who it was, but it's barely even important at this point. The Mallory are a monolith of an organization. You know that. Collectivism was always the goal. Making sure that... Is it... Why did you join to begin with? It was simple. The offer was a little too tempting. There is this concept of divinity in the world. It is impossible to negotiate, argue with, or otherwise. The gods must exist because look at the bountiful miracles that surround us. Those that doubted the existence of God were struck down with great and terrible powers from beyond their own imagination. The gods must exist because civilization exists. It thrives and it prospers. Those that offer blessings, those that accept the blessings of the gods are allowed to grow strong. This is why you accepted. Not because the Mallory offered you a path to divinity, but because they offered you an alternative. It's simple. The mortal world must be ruled with mortal hands. Our organization exists so that the divinity above, with their clouded eyes and their clouded judgment, do not steer us to our demise. We are criminals and heretics because we resist. Something about that stuck with you. It sounded so nice at the time. You didn't know why. You stand now in that bunker again, the reality of what resistance and defiance looks like. Beast. Obedience can be born from ideals. Ideals are not a direct line that enlighten the self. It actually becomes pretty easy to lose sight of who you are when you're striving for a higher goal. You look across the way at that figure that used to control your life. Life in this world was almost monochrome for you. A brutal thing. The idea, however, that through your action, you were bettering an organization that was returning power to individuals. That, it did not add color, but it added the impression that it might arrive someday. And yet, there was a different reality. The same thing that most realize. Simply killing, assassinating, cutting, butchering. Reducing those that would stand against the Malori to scrap was simply replacing mortals with other mortals, just as corrupt, just as depraved. It was an exchange of one color for another. Our nine were unable to reach the divines above. Take a step forward, unsure of what to do at this point. Originally, I offered you a hand in this instance. I think you should make a decision for yourself now, though. This part of you is key to who you are as an individual. Do you cut it out and attempt to become someone else? Do you embrace it? Or do you look for something else? You look over at the figure at the far side of the room. 1. Do you accept that this is a part of you? Do you accept your past with the Malori? Do you open the door holding back your missing memories? Or 2, do you give them up? Do you let them fade away with the wind? Do you become the person that you are now? Or 3, do you search for an alternative, neither acceptance nor denial? Do you accept the current uncertainty of your existence and decide to begin there? Make a choice, chat. Delightful. Okay. Seems pretty clear. You look over at the figure on the far side of the room. You pick up your brain smasher for a split second, pause, and turn. That is a part of me, certainly. It exists in haze. If I accept it and throw open the gates, I might not be the person that I am now. Similarly, if I cut it away, I might lose whatever important basis it forges in my psyche. I happen to like who I am at this precise moment. You sit back down in the corner, and then actually stand. You take a seat on the couch next to her, something that you were forbidden from doing during your days with the Malori. My mind is certainly scrambled. My identity equivalently so. However, this state of existence, there is potential in it. I'd rather enjoy it. She calmly takes her, smiles, nods. Before this, do you have a name that you can remember? You think. Lore raises their hand. The name doesn't matter, honestly. I'm happy being the knight. Good enough for me. She beams at you. I had a name before, Wall. This is a title granted to me by the gods. She looks over at the figure in the corner as well. The family that I was a part of organized a death game in order to pick the next successor. They said that the one who's able to wipe out the rest of the family could rise to the top and eventually helm this segment of the Malari. I was by their standards, peasant from the sulfuric lamina. Overlooked to be a simple member of well, a simple servant of theirs. I thought for the moment. If really anyone acceptable, why couldn't I do? It turns out the Mallory had underestimated one thing. Don't turn your back on the person who knows where you sleep. When it had resolved, it turned out that this was a privilege exclusive for their bloodline. That they had intended for the young heir of the family, whose blood, now adorned by knife, to take over, to wipe out their brothers and sisters. All of it was a very impressive show. The Mallory are nothing if not impressive showmen. She smiles. In their place, I, however, inherited a grand mansion and an even fuller library. When that branch of the family was finally discovered to have gone utterly missing, I was well on my way. She leans in. And that is how I developed the talents to become the ring wall of the City of the Dead, successor of the Great Demon War, and demigod of verdicts. She looks over at this figure. My previous identity is a part of me the same, but it is not who I am. I am who I am at this exact moment. A title. A mantle. She steps, rising, and starts to move. Seems that you're the same. So, you rise. Let's leave this room, okay? You look back over at the figure in the distance. It would be so easy at this point to either crush this memory or embrace it wholeheartedly. But if it's guided you this far, you leave it sputtering in the back of your mind. A key part of what makes you who you are. Back here. Look down at the body. It's no longer moving. Simply lies there, as you see Ringwall simply return a dagger to her cloak. Well, that proved to be a rather uneventful conclusion, wouldn't you say? You look over at her. I'm glad to have some closure to the issue. From here on out, I am the judge of liberation. That is who I am. My past no longer contains me. And you? My past is as important as it needs to be. You can cut yourself free, but you look down and you feel that same presence that existed behind your eyes, even if only for a short while. If I cut everything away, I feel like I would be doing someone a disservice. Who? You pat your body. This one. Fascinating. She smiles as you disappear back down the tunnel. And then we go back to hell. We rejoin the combat as Solar Knight is doubling down. She's gonna swing. Block. Oh my god. This guy does not care. Passes turn to Pioneer. 1, 2, 3. Block, block, block. Moonblood, burning, coat tattered, rises up again and is like, okay guys, I got it. She closes in. Stab, raises up arm, swings hammer, Slam! Slam! She hits the wall and bounces off, taking that wound and sliding down. You feel that same presence shift. Whatever is lurking inside the Moonblood starts to, again, come back to the surface as she picks herself back up. Is gonna take this much extra damage. And leap and detach as this figure gets hit, stumbles back against the wall and attempts to pull her off. That will be okay. 3. Dropping you to 6. Oh wait, that's a 3. That holy shit. Okay. 5 again. Moonblood attack, like Moonblood gets on top of the molten shield bearer and is just attacking with bare hand, one after the other, and then yells, "Okay, they're open!" The caster moves their way over, and now that they are weakened enough, rolls 6. Please, caster. Fires a shot, and again, the shield rises and simply blocks it. No damage going through again. This thing, I don't think we can puncture through. Solar Knight starts to focus in again. She's like, okay, I'm gonna start buffing everyone. Get ready. Okay, hit me with it. Moonblood holds out her arms and will again she feels divine might start to suffuse her body as, oh my god, the Pioneer's gonna close in first, and using the opening attempt to 1, 2, 3. 1, block, 2, block, 3, raises up, and the third attack travels past. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Guys, I gotta ping them all for damage. Back up to 7. As everyone takes, missing 4, 8d6. That'll only be 4 for the Solar Knight and the Pioneer, because those are over here. Moonblood's gonna take that 31 as, yeah, no, she's, not doing so hot. We are going to, I forgot to wound, we're gonna do that, and, she'll take another wound off that. You watch as Moonblood's body is just burning away in real time. The Pioneer then would close in, then do that, then we roll this. There's an order to these things. Oh, that's actually a very good hit. Pioneer drops them to -4, 3. Okay. If they drop any lower than 3, they get an additional turn, but yeah, Solar Knight's gonna hit Moonblood with the buff. And okay, Moonblood, what are you gonna do? No, you're in your feral mode, you're attached, you're just going for it. You have this, which gives you the free ignite, which you are going to spend. This has this bonus. Okay. Add a 9 to that. She should be locked in. Add a 10 to that, Jesus. 32, okay. As the Moonblood just attacked again. You've seen it 100,000 times at this point. Teeth, claws, everything. 3. Dropping them to 0. None. Okay. The molten shield finally dies down as, again, the caster moves into the area and is going to cast like he do. +6 bonus. This shark travels over and strikes them in the side. Full damage. They're taking hits. They're stumbling backwards. And Solar Knight's like, okay, we just need to hold on for one more turn. And I roll 1d6. Oh my god, that is incredible. They regain 1 stack. As you know, 18d6 damage is coming down on everyone here. Hold on. 18d6. Okay, everyone adjacent wounded. Just straight up, Moonblood is going to drop her last dice. As the full mountain armor, a burst of flame travels through the area, and then it's time. It's time for the Pioneer to fucking believe. Okay. Okay, everyone. We need to be as smart about this as possible. We're gonna wound this on Solar Knight. No, she can't. She is gonna take the support action. Move back, take the support action on Pioneer, because Pioneer needs to land this hit. So that'll add a 1d6. Hey, Moonblood, you're about to be very stupid, aren't you? So, Moonblood is going to try to remove that last stack. She's still got the buff, so she's gonna give it a shot. And if she doesn't succeed, fucking good luck to us. Okay. Moonblood's still on them, and you just see an utter madness behind her eyes. It seems like whatever consciousness she's literally unconscious on her feet. We roll this? It's enough. You, She balances back here, almost swaying on her feet. Literally 1 HP, no way to resist any attack. And you see that eye color change. And instead of doing anything else, she arcs forward and a voice lightly echoes out, "Please move." She takes 1 step forwards, and with her palm, drives it into the core of the being. And I drop its last stack. Again, it's completely melted. The caster yells. The Pioneer yells. You hear a call of now as they reach forwards. And this is the moment. Okay, please God. You gave them their pistols back. They'll get their bonus from this. They need to hit so badly. Okay, they reach forwards and take 1 arm and vanish. The pair disappearing into the void and reappearing instead. Let me do this correctly. This one over here. This guy back here gets himself ready, raises a hand, and is going to use Endless Ocean, Eternal Frontier. First things first. Oh, wait, no. Be smart about this. He's putting them right there. So, they gotta succeed in a roll to die. Okay, that's just happening. There is their shield as their now fully smelted skin is not enough to resist the incoming cannon fire. The shots travel inwards. Like this. Ooh. Okay. my 8d6. 28. Okay, they're just gonna be wounded. The cannon shot flies and blows a hole straight through them. And then I flip a coin to determine what setting effect we get. Red, rocking waves. Okay. Actually, wait, no. I'm gonna let him pick in this case. He's gonna pick blue, choppy seas. Roll. Randomly move all boats, 7 spaces. Any boats okay. Roll. 1d4. 4. That's beautiful. Okay. The boat that the smelted shield bearer is on slides 7 spaces back in this direction and slams into this boat, taking 2d6 damage, 7 damage. It starts to rock, and then we roll 4. This boat to the right moves 7 spaces in this direction and slams into this boat, dealing roll 2d6. 7 damage to both of you. And with a loud crashing noise, the hole starts to split, and this individual, on its next act, drops into the water below, plunging. A loud peal of steam emits. And our friend back here watches this happen, arms crossed. This was one of the outcomes that could have happened to you in your heavy metal armor. You hit the water and have literally no method of escape. This creature does not have a jump, it does not have a move speed. Its body has been rebuilt by the deep ocean, and it simply sinks into its depths, disappearing beneath the ocean waves. Back outside. Back outside. The moonblood hits the ground as you two rejoin the squad. You move into the area as Solar Knight is immediately cradling the moonblood. And she's like, okay, I can actually get to work on this. Don't touch her. Any amount of healing will be, you re-enter the area, and Beast moves forward. And actually, like, kneels down, seeming, like, genuinely concerned. You double over and look down at the figure in front of you. She's mostly unconscious, but occasionally mutters something. Everything's fine. Just prepare yourself. When that thing comes back, we need to be ready to act. If it comes down to it, protect her, okay? She looks over to you. You nod quietly. And boom! Man drops out of the sky. Well, that was a more gruesome business than anticipated. What do you mean? Is everything okay? He points behind him. You see. I don't know how to describe it, so I'm gonna show you. The figure back behind, crushed by the ocean depths and rapidly hardened, is it's become an almost towering, stretched shape. Long, horrific arms no longer moving. Mission accomplished, I guess. You slowly turn around. Take a few steps towards it. Beast of God stares up at this individual as Ringwall almost flutters around your back. They raise their hand. And then they attempt the same severing gesture that Ringwall did earlier. Oh? And then they try it again. And then they try it again. And then they try it again and pause. Exhale. And they think about this place. Their soul is contained somewhere here. If this being is animated by this place too, all they need to think is about their connection. They can sever it from there. They raise one hand and swing. The being starts to move in front of you. Flailing around, it barely manages to move its muscles. Utterly harmless. It stutters and stumbles back and forth. I see. You're starting to understand. This is the truth that I was attempting to hide from you. You have more control over this place than you expect. You look down at your palm. You open and close it. Becoming the lord of this land, even functioning as a king, current position, something like that is possible. You look over to Ringwall again. Everything she said, her focus on freedom and autonomy, makes sense that she wouldn't trust anyone with this. I understand. You'll teach me more if I overcome you in combat, then. Yes, gladly, she says with a smile. The figure continues to shake and almost panic, its body so changed by the waters that it can't... And then it pauses. And it looks at you. It seems to find some small amount of recognition. And those long, spindly fingers reach deep within itself. You hear a grinding, scraping, and it produces a ring and gets down on one knee, almost as if offering it to their lord. Solar Knight looks over at you, and you reach out, coming to an almost quiet realization. The beings here, every single one of them, you take the ring. The soldiers of this land, they all willingly became a part of this ritual, this defiance of liars. They are living parts of the country. They bound themselves eternally to their king's will. In this moment, it seems you are being recognized as their lord. You take the ring and put it, and place it with your other possessions. It is a sign of miserable success. You look at Ringwall, and beyond her, the undead that now spatter the landscape. You cut them to pieces with your weapons. Yet when granted freedom by the necromancer, they assume their positions just the same, doing in death what they did in life. You take the ring and silently accept the burden that carries. It is up to you what you do with it. Clear enough, we're going to dethrone a monarch. You stand with the ring in your possession. You hear a whisper. If you had chosen a different option, this might not have happened, but you have a chance to resist, which is something that I did not expect. As it almost adheres to your person, You feel an energy spread through your body, and a whisper in the back of your head. I did not expect for the Mallory to find me such a suitable vessel. It whispers out. A prickle that travels through your entire body, but it hurts. Your entire body almost seems to catch flame. Oh, but you push back and I use this voice. So instead, I'll aim for something different. Feel a presence in the back of your head. If you'd cut it away, maybe it wouldn't be able to do this to you, but it speaks with this horrid voice now. All right. Do me a favor. My hound. Your mind has grown too loud with dissonant voices. I add a 5th white stat to your sheet. We are going to wound ourselves until only this feeble voice remains. All right? Follow my orders. Plunge off the cliff. You've frozen. You hear the Solar Knight's voice, but it's almost like her words fall on deaf ears. This 1d6 will be applying a penalty, not a bonus, on these actions. And in this moment, Beast of God, oh my god, yes, takes control. You are going to roll to do versus the king of this place. To see it. Okay. You turn, and almost involuntarily, you start to move. There's no magic to this, just an inbuilt need, a compulsion to obey. You take a step this way, and you're gonna roll something. You. You're wounded. You're wounded. 2 people would notice. Of course you do that. Oh my god, why are you... Okay. One person notices your strange actions first. She pauses and looks at you, and you feel her own code stopping you. Stopping her from helping you. Is this what you want? Another step this way. The others, so wounded from the conflict that they do nothing, turn and look over, almost a little shocked, but the one that's stopping from happening is the half-dead sack of meat off the ground who picks herself up and literally bodily tackles you into the rock. And she's like, oh, I know that look. They're not themselves. All of themselves, any of themselves. They barely struggle out. Hey. I don't know what they're telling you. I don't know what they're telling you what to do, but... They plop down on the ground. Your body pauses there for a second. You feel your willpower return, and Beast of God shrugs it off. They're telling me to jump. They're telling me that my voices are too loud and theirs belong instead. Don't listen to that crap. Come on, sit down. She pats the ground next to her, and you thunk sit down next to them. They're telling you to what? Likely they're trying to make me into the vessel. It seems I've grown too willful. Thank you for the wake-up call. You say, looking over to the Moonblood. Beast of God reels back and like pats her on the shoulder. It's like, fucking ow, stop. You all pause here for a moment as there's a moment of calm. Wait, hold on. And you quickly are caught up on the situation. Silence almost seems to set in as Ringwall stays along the outside. She watches over you. It seems that this ring is the point of possession. This might determine who the vessel is. Or it might be that we've thrown the ritual far enough off of its base that the king is deciding to act. At the very least, I am now a risk to some extent. Huh. Moonblood kind of speaks up. She's been babbling like this entire time. And basically immediately launches in with, go. Well, okay, no big deal. All we gotta do is get this guy, right? I suppose. You look down at the ring and sort of hold it in your hand. And? Okay. Roll something? Okay. This will be a very simple roll. Last thing to determine, of course. You look down at the ring in your hand, and you sort of like brace it there for a second. Genuinely, thank you. Looking back over at the Moonblood, I don't wish to become the vessel of whatever this thing is. And at that exact moment, there's a scrambling, darting noise as you hear something screech through the darkness as one final complication emerges, dives, leaps, wins the clash, grabs your arm, grabs the ring, attaches themselves to it, and you see their eyes split wide for a second as from behind them, you recognize the presence of a similar white stat speak up. Plan B. It is then. The poison seed will need to come to fruition. I await you all in the throne room. They screech, leap, dive forward, hit the water, and vanish. You turn and look over as the exile disappears into the water below with a splash. The last candidate for this, now acting as the willing vessel of the king. The rest of your squad, flabbergasted, just looks at the water. And then, the pioneer sort of straightens up. Well, I can at least make things a little bit easier for us. See y'all on the other side! Leaps and jumps down into the water. Oh my goodness. You all rest up. I'm going to make sure he comes back all right. He leaps and jumps down too with a splash. Moonblood starts to stand and you just grab her arm. No, absolutely not. She sits back down almost like, damn. You see them all disappear into the shadows as relaxation again sets in for your body. Well, at the very least, we'll gain access to the throne room. You stand up fully incensed and start to stomp away in this direction. The Solar Knight sort of like preps herself. Okay, I guess we need to get ready for a final confrontation. Yes. In that case, I'll be borrowing your knight for a while. The Solar Knight looks at her. We have much to discuss, and you have one last obligation. Please, you two, focus on healing yourselves. You became quite wounded during that conflict. She grabs your hand and starts to lead you away, quietly into the distance. These two pause over here, and the Solar Knight almost like makes to follow her. And then... again, this one collapses. The Solar Knight turns around, races down. Right, of course. Okay. I guess we're leaving here together. Picks her up. Thank you. Legs no work good. She barely struggles out. Yeah, of course. Looks over at the tall creature. Now extending there, still spouting bits of flame. She starts to walk away, carrying with her the moonblood. The two begin to leave this segment of the crypt. As they do, silence begins to fall on the kingdom of Vinyat. The true perpetrator revealed, the ancient city. Now drones on in a condition of silence. The stage is set. The players now retreat to different segments of the world. Small areas where activity still blossoms, preparing for their final conflict. But in the rest of the kingdom, everything has grown silent. Those that willingly offered their lives to this place in a grand ritual once again return to the soil, becoming one with Vinyat. This grand ritual circle nearing completion. The souls brought as kindling to the flame. This tale was only meant to have one kingdom. It was supposed to end when only one remained. One who would assume the false mantle of God. One who would step into the pantheon and provide a voice that would answer in heaven. But in this defiance of liars, there was never any truth to that. Historically, the name should tell you everything that you need to know. And yet, buried behind it all, you have heard the truth of what Vinyat is. A country that once held the secret of how divinity could be achieved. It is something that the king could never figure out. And it is the true nature of this ritual to coerce whatever that divine magic is out from hiding. As the Solar Knight stumbles up and over, again returning to the bonfire, the true purpose of the ritual is finally revealed. She stumbles forward. It was never about severing one's proper mortality. It was putting on a grand enough show that the one that held the secret would finally act. The sage quietly folds her hands, balancing the staff in front of her. A lot of people called out for you a short time ago. I'm sure you can tell. All of this is coming to a miserable end. So, she stands and begins to move. In this case, why don't we rewrite the ending? She extends a hand. Together. Next week, we are going to be doing the final battle, the super boss, and then whatever comes afterwards. Everyone, it's been an honor to play this game with you. The plot has taken some rather interesting turns, and next time all will be revealed. Now, more than ever, I encourage you to go over to the official Discord and engage in the final votes because you're going to need a 1v1 ring wall next week. And it will not be easy. If you want to get your golden ending, you're going to have to earn it. If you do not beat her, this alternate route that you want, this path that no one considered, will not materialize. You will meet your end, as predicted by the terms of the ritual. So, prep yourself. Think to the best of your ability, how would you win in a situation like this? And get ready for next week, because we are going until it is completed. And with that, I call this session to a close. Fucking G's,
Good
squad.
job, my guy. fucking killing it. You in chat, both killing it.
Yeah, everybody doing great.
Yeah, and if you want to join, obviously you can find the Discord link down below in the description, or by typing !Discord in the Twitch chat. And we have, as always, fan art.
Wonderful, beautiful fan art. What the fuck?
Thank you,
Hello!
Twitch, for putting together this Imgur.
Good job, squad.
Yeah. First off, from Darwin, we have vote Striv got his vote for today. Oof. Bad news about those stonks.
Bad news about those
Vote more,
stonks.
gain more, lore wave. Thank you very much, Twin Anubis. And then playing with Baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my son.
That's my son. My fucked up
That's
little
my fucking
son.
son. That's my fucked up little son.
All or
nothing is not an option. That's great.
Yeah, 3.
3.
From Honest Spell. Protect. Yeah, the child. If I'm a dad, and you're my H2 bro, does that make you a sunkle?
A sunkle! Oh my god, I love it.
That is wild. And then, give me 1 second. There's one
I love
last.
H2 bro.
Oh, H2 bros, best boy.
The screen will go black for a second as I pull up this one. I'm not sure if it will show up to the people I'm screen sharing with, but here's the last one from Cookout Trashbin.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
Dog going for a walk. Okay, guys. Good session. You got all the lore this time. Next time, it's time for the big fucking fight.
Yeah, just a reminder, this would be December 20th at 8 EST, the final session of Immortalize. Make sure to join the Discord. Take participation in the polls. If you are a Patreon member, you get a second vote in the Patreon chat. So your votes weigh a little bit more for supporting us and enabling us to do some wacky ideas like this. Yeah, make sure to be there so you can type 1, 2, 3 in the chat for probably some of the most important decisions in the game.
Yes. Yeah, so with that, I hope you all had a fantastic time. I hope you come back next week. Enjoy the September creature. Have a good night, everybody.
Later.
Bye bye.